Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
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 Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the program, Agriculture on the Move. I am Phillip Sydney. With me today is Mr. Kerde Severin, who is the project manager for the Banana Productivity Improvement Project in St. Lucia. And that project is attached to the Department of Agriculture. Welcome to the program, Mr. Severin.
Thank you very much, Sid.
Well, good boy. I would have liked to have had you here, bearing good news to the farmers, telling them, boy, the market is there and your production has increased. But sad. I think Kirk came in. He didn't dance Western. I think he danced Guanwo in the industry, and he really brought some damage to the banana industry. But before we get there, there are a number of persons who probably are not aware of the existence of your project. Just briefly tell them about it.
Okay. Well, okay, the project is on its second year, Sid.
Mm-hmm.
At the time it was established by the Ministry of Agriculture, by the government of St. Lucia, the whole objective was to help resuscitate the banana industry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the idea was that you'd give the necessary support to increase productivity from between 8 and 12 tons to a tonnage of 18 to 20, 25 tons an acre.
Mm-hmm.
To bring back life in the rural communities. Correct. In terms of income and earnings and income earning stream.
Mm-hmm.
And of course to increase our exports and to bring in revenue into the country, and also to expand the acreage from where it was from 1,000 acres to about 5,000-6,000 acres. Okay. In a nutshell, these were the main objectives of the project. So we are now in year 2, as I said. Mm-hmm. So so far so good. Of course, we have to deal with the reality of climate change, okay. And it is one of the realities. Kirk reminds us of what the whole climate change business is about. Yes?
Definitely. But prior to Kirk, where were your tonnage for St. Lucia, the export?
The export tonnage was somewhere around the last figures, I think in 2015, was somewhere around to the UK. It was just about 7,000 tons thereabout. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. But more critically, the acreage was about 1,117. Wow. The number of farmers was just below 300. Mm. Okay. To date, we have doubled that acreage. We are now at 2,384. Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. The number of farmers have now also doubled. We are now up to, I think, 578 farmers. Mm. Okay. Wow. And the number of farms, because you have farm and you have farmers. Yes. One farmer may have more than one. Farms, yes. Yes. So the number of farms moved from 286 to 687. Mm. So that is where we were just before Kirk visited us.
You're just about to take off.
Yeah. More importantly, also we saw an improvement in the productivity. Mm-hmm. I believe we were probably nearing 15 tons to the acre. In fact, in some areas like Dedlo, mm-hmm. Crownlands, mm-hmm. farmers there would tell you that they were probably doing maybe close to 20 tons to the acre. Wow. Because the bunches were, the smallest would be 12, 13 hands. So productivity was also on the increase. Great. Sadly, Kirk came and we have to start all over again.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, but what it also speaks to is that the project has done a lot of work with those farmers, taking it from where, as you said, where they were and where we are now, which is that was quite as commendable. Of course, Kirk hit us, like I said, St. Lucia is very vulnerable, and that's not the first time. The thing is, once we have hurricanes and storms at that level, the banana industry always suffer. I know we had a tour with the acting Prime Minister, who's also the Minister responsible for Agriculture, on the Friday. So take us through that.
Well, how do I describe it? Okay, the damage or the impact was felt more in the northern, what I call the coastal areas. When I talk about northern, if we start with Roseau, or if we start from the north, Babuno, Forestier, and you come down to Cul-de-sac, the Dedlow, Crownlands area, and then you go down to Roseau, and then you leave Roseau, and then you go down to the Mabuya Valley, and from the Mabuya Valley, if you go down to Prale, Mamiku, Fond Estate, and then you go down to Canals. All these areas were hit severely. Were severely hit. You're talking about averaging somewhere between 75 and 90%, anywhere around that. Some farms would have experienced 100% altogether. The farms in the hinterland, for example, in woodlands, in places like Silier, Chukomel, Varvot, and so on, these were spared a little. These were spared. I suppose there are a few cases where maybe you would probably put it around maybe 20-25%.
Okay.
But our best farms, our best lands, these were the areas that were hit the hardest. Yeah.
I know for Roseau, like you said, there were almost 100% damages, and in certain areas they were not too much damage. But overall, you would see about between 80 to 90% damage. Yeah,
in those flat areas, in those valleys and so on, it's around that. There is a very interesting case in what we notice is that, for example, in those areas where you had barriers, trees, mango trees, and so on, the impact was a little less.
Right.
So as we move forward and we try to build resilience to climate change, it is one of the things we have been advocating. It's one of the things we have been preaching. We will emphasize it even more now that farmers, because under the global gap, you're supposed to have a lot of barriers and windbreaks and so on. So we will be re-emphasizing it as we move forward in an effort to build resilience for down the road.
Yeah, because going back in time immemorial, I remember as a youngster, farmers were building and planting trees, and we used to call them windbreaks. They were particular trees they were planting.
That's correct.
I mean, and right now we can look at the economic crops as windbreaks. So I believe we should go back to that. One of the things I also recognized in the tour was there was a lot of snapping, but there was also a lot of toppling. I had a concern with the toppling because it meant that your root system is not very healthy. Speak to that.
Yeah, the majority though was snapping. Majority was snapping, and it speaks to the whole question of the productivity level.
Right.
The bunches are heavier, and even though they were propped, what they did was they snapped.
Yes.
Okay. So the majority, I would say, between 60-70% of the crop, the damage was due to snapping.
Right.
The remainder, I would say, toppled. And you're right. We know for a fact that we did a survey this year of nematodes, a nematode survey, and we discovered that there are high levels of nematode infestation across the country. So we are under this report, we have taken steps to actually try and ameliorate the situation.
But I mean, in the past, at the last storm we had a lot more snapping than toppling. But it meant to me that some things were not done right in terms of nematicide application. Something was wrong, right?
Some people applied nematicides, but it was not available. That is the problem. Some people applied. Where those persons applied, so you probably saw the results.
Right.
But the thing is, and that is one of the issues we have had in the industry, especially in the past, where a lot of the critical inputs are not available. I mean, the project supplies what we consider the critical ones, the oil and fungicide to control the black sigatoka. We do fertilizer. In recent times, we say, let us include blue diathin. So as we move forward, it means that we need to look at other items and like twine and nematicide, and we may even want to look at herbicides, because sometimes when farmers need to control their weeds, there are no herbicides around. So it's something moving forward, we may need to look at.
Definitely. We are due for a break. Stay tuned.
For effective chemical treatment of black sigatoka, practice routine preventative maintenance of all tools and equipment, especially the mist blower, to ensure proper functioning. Clean sprayer after use and service the machine regularly, as recommended by the manufacturer. Whenever you are using pesticides to control black sigatoka disease, personal protection and safety measures must be followed. Spray operators must always wear proper protective gear. Before or when handling pesticides, put on your overalls, respirator, goggles, boots, and gloves to avoid contact with the skin, inhalation, and ingestion of pesticides.
For more information on how to treat and control black sigatoka on your farm or in your backyard garden, contact the Black Sigatoka Management Unit at 451-5491, 451-5894, or email bpmu@candw.lc. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Agriculture in collaboration with the International Cooperation and Development Fund of the Republic of China on Taiwan.
Welcome back. Kurt, I remember years ago, maybe under the SLBG formula, there was insurance for wind damages and stuff like this. What do you call it? Wind crop. You know, when we went around after Kirk, we were getting the feel that some farmers had some form of insurance, but the majority did not take insurance. Speak to this.
Yeah. Okay, we still have wind crop, and there are some farmers, a few of them, I think, who actually enrolled and purchased insurance with wind crop. In addition to that, there is also what we call the livelihoods protection with EC Global. Okay, now, ironically, the week before, the project and EC Global, we had a series of meetings all around the country promoting purchase of the EC Global plan. Yeah. And a lot of people indicated interest, and a lot of people went and they registered with EC Global. Unfortunately, for you to benefit, for you to receive any payment, there is a trigger. In other words, there must be a wind level. The wind speed must reach a certain, the wind must reach a certain speed, which is around 60 plus. There's that threshold. And also for rainfall, there is also a certain amount of rain that we must get in order for it to trigger payment. Okay. In this case, I had a chat with Mr. Fossois from the EC Global, and he said the wind speeds was about 57. It was less than what was required to trigger so that people can receive payment. So it means that, therefore, and it was a concern, it was one of the concerns the farmers highlighted, the threshold. They thought it was too high. So I believe we will have some discussions with them to see what can be done to lower that threshold. But
somebody must have dropped the ball, because in the discussion, over the years we've been having wind speeds. Don't tell me that 50, 60 or so 70. That's pretty high. Yeah. And I think that should come down to at least 50. Right. The
other thing which we have been exploring is to insure the crop, and we're looking at working with CRIF to see how that can be done. So far, they're looking at the fishery sector first before they come to the agricultural subsector. So hopefully, in the years to come, we will have both livelihoods protection, and also farmers will be able to protect the crop or the livestock or whatever it may be.
Okay, great. Yeah. Moving forward, after, which is post Storm Kirk, of course, the government, took some quick decisions. There was a meeting with the Minister for Agriculture and also the Prime Minister, the banana companies, and of course your project. They were brainstorming, and of course they came up with a formula. Tell us about this package, which government have, gladly, ably want to assist.
Yeah, well, the good news, Sid, is that yesterday, our minister brought the proposal to cabinet, and the good news is that cabinet approved of a package, and the package is wide-ranging. It covers chopping and replanting. It covers fertilizer. It covers nematicide. It covers oil and fungicide. It also covers herbicides. Okay. So there's a package.
A total package.
Total package. Okay. The other good news is that our friends, the Taiwanese, who have been very, very supportive of the banana industry for the past how many years, 7 or so years, they have also agreed to fund part of that whole package. So in the coming days, the project will actually inform farmers what the package is, and then we are hoping that we should be in a position to roll out the package, say by as early as next week. That is what we would like to do.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I know some farmers, of course, our banana farmers are very resilient in the sense that they started to chop even the day after the storm. Where are they now?
In fact, this is exactly what we have been advising the farmers to do. Whatever the package, whatever assistance that will be given, do not wait, but go ahead and start the process, doing the chopping, doing the replanting, and so on. And on Sunday, I was out there, and I can tell you, indeed, all around, farmers are already back in the field,
as usual,
and they're already chopping, they're already doing some of the replanting and what have you. And some of them have almost 80-90% complete.
Wow,
yeah.
That is very good. In the meeting we had, I know the Taiwanese also suggested they would have given some assistance in the short-term crops, whilst the banana probably will get back in 6 months' time. So within that 6 months, they're hoping to do that, but I think that was not properly well accepted, and we understand why. I think because of it happened before, where you had a glut on the market and the farmers couldn't sell. So is that going to happen?
I think the main point is not that it wasn't accepted, but the main point is that the point which I think it was the Prime Minister was making was that whilst we accept the offer is good, but it needs to be coordinated.
Coordinated, yes.
Coordinated in the sense that it has to be, whatever you do, whatever you plant, it has to be market-led. It has to be market-driven. In the past, what we have had is that we got seeds, and everybody went ahead, and let's say we got melon seeds. Everybody went and they plant melon. So 75 days later or 60 days later, we have a glut of melons on the market. So basically, it defeats the whole purpose. It is, and this is where I think our staff and the ministry staff would have to come in and schedule. When I say schedule, at least advise people in terms of if you have 100 farmers, at least, and there are 5 or 6 crops, maybe we should do a bit of specialization. Some farmers do melons, others do tomatoes, others do cabbage, others do whatever crop. So that when the time for harvest, there will be an outlet, there will be a market, they will be able to dispose of.
No, you're right. You're right, because there is a plan already in existence, as you know, with the massy stores, and the scheduling is well organized. So I'm thinking that should be done in conjunction with what is in
There's a model. There's a model. All you have to do is to follow the model. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yes,
just follow the model.
Yeah. I think that's how it should work.
Yeah.
If not, it'll be chaos again. We'll do for a second break.
Okay.
Stay tuned, people. We'll be back soon.
All boats engaged in fishing must have a license to fish from the Department of Fisheries. As part of the licensing process, a fisheries extension officer must inspect the boat, the fishing gear, and the safety equipment. The purpose of a fishing license is to manage the amount of fishing in our waters and avoid overfishing. This will help us continue catching fish. Every year, boat owners or captains must renew their license to fish. A licensed fishing boat must clearly display the J6 number assigned by the Department of Fisheries. That J6 number should be placed on both sides of the bow of the boat. The license sticker given for the current year should be placed on the left or port side of the bow. The boat owner must have permission to use any engine above 125 horsepower. The inside color of the boat must be painted one of the approved colors, signal red or international orange. The boat must have the necessary navigational and safety equipment as required by law. The boat owner must ensure that the captain and crew are registered with the Department of Fisheries. Any change made to your fishing operation must be reported to the Department of Fisheries within 7 days. Some changes include the color of the boat, the type and number of fishing gear, the engine size, and the name of the boat. The boat owner and captain must comply with all conditions of the fishing license. For more information on obtaining a license to fish, contact the Department of Fisheries at 468-4143.
Welcome back. There's another interesting point before we get into the marketing, which is part of marketing also. During the interviews at the various talk shows, some persons called in and said, okay, I mean, every time there is some storm, the banana industry gets affected. So, you know, why plant bananas and move to other crops, you know? And quite a few people called, you know, and had that same feeling. But I think you and I understand it's more than just that, because I will say to you, not because your roof has gone, that you not replace your roof. You know, you still have to live maybe in the same place. But more than this, a lot of people don't understand. We are diversifying, but we are diversifying with bananas. Correct. We have other short-term crops. Correct. However, those short-term crops will not give you a weekly income.
Cash flow.
You understand? Yeah. And I think that's one of the...
You see, a lot of people do not understand the impact of the banana dollar.
Yes.
Apart from the cash flow, every week or every 2 weeks, you get this weekly income. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, when you talk about we talk about the acreage, mm-hmm. 500, 700 something farms.
Right.
The average farm is likely to employ somewhere between 2 and 3 persons.
Correct.
Right. On harvesting day, that number increases to about 5 on an average. So there's also the social aspect in terms of the employment it generates. Okay, so if you multiply 3 by 2,382, then you get the picture, and then you multiply that again by 5, then you begin to understand the dynamics. And of course, it is new money. Yeah. It is foreign exchange that it is generating. It's money coming from outside.
Brought in.
That you bring it, and that dollar percolates throughout the economy.
Yes,
so, and more critically, it is one of those crops where there is a market.
Yes, a short market. Eh?
There is a short market. There is a market, and so, like I've always said, you will tell a farmer to grow tomatoes. Three farmers with probably an acre of
can flood the market easily, very easily.
Okay. So whatever we do, we must ensure that there is a market where we can actually dispose of it. And then a lot of our programs, apart from satisfying our domestic needs, we need to be able to target the export market, to be able to do it in the kind of volume that is required, and of course to make you a lot more competitive.
Definitely. That takes me straight into the marketing of the bananas. The project that you coordinate, so as it is said, is banana productivity, right? You're increasing acreage, you're increasing production. Now, it's supposed to be market driven. The problem I know and you know that is in existence now is that the farmers prior to Kirk were not able to market all their bananas. Now that's of concern because the government is pushing, productivity, but yes, the market is saying no, I can't take all from you. Where is this?
We've been hearing the complaints from the farmers. We've gone around. We've had discussions with a lot of them. There is a company called Winfresh, and when it was established as with DECO, it was established with support from farmers because they were to buy the geese business. Farmers basically, funds were deducted from banana sales to basically acquire this business. And one of the things which that company is supposed to do is to market the bananas coming from the windwards, not only St. Lucia, but from the windwards. Today, it's only St. Lucia
yes.
that is exporting bananas. What we see happening, for example, if I may quote the financial report of the latest financial report of Winfresh. Total sales, out of the total sales for 2016, they only purchased 10%. 10% of the bananas came from the windwards.
And that's in Lucia?
That is St. Lucia, only 10%. Okay, the amount of fair trade bananas they sold, 95% was fair trade bananas. That's what they sold. But for whatever reason, what we see happening is farmers make a request. For example, the week before the storm, the request from the farmers was for 22,000 boxes. But they got a purchase order from Winfresh for only 12,000 boxes. So what NFTO, the information I got from NFTO says that what they did was they actually purchased 15,000 boxes. So it means that you have another 5,000 boxes. So it is an issue. It is an issue that we will engage Winfresh.
Okay.
We have been engaging them, and we want to assure the farmers that it is something that is an issue that we will address, and it is being addressed at the highest level. Okay, not only by, as you were there, you had a meeting. It's being addressed by not only our minister but also the Prime Minister.
Yes.
It has been brought to their attention, and they are giving it the utmost attention, so that by the time March comes, we are hoping that we'll be back on track, by April next year. So by the time March, April comes, that we are hoping that this issue would be resolved.
Yes.
And as I said, it is getting the attention of both our Prime Minister and our Minister of Agriculture.
I think it is the right time now, eh?
Yes.
Because while production is still, people are getting back on their feet,
Yeah.
I think it needs to be discussed. By the time they get back on track, next 6 months, they should be able to market all the bananas. I don't think we should hear this complaint anymore.
I'm hoping not.
Because it's really, really, really sad when these farmers work so hard, and they know they're supposed to, do what this, and then that happens. Any final words from you, sir?
No, well, I just want to say to the farmers out there, keep the faith. We will be rolling out a support package to help them get back on their feet again. Do not give hope. It is one of those things that we must always hang on to. We must always have hope, and do not be discouraged. Help is on the way.
And tell them, be honest with the information that they give out. As you know that sometimes,
Okay.
you understand, because sometimes your guys go out and get an assessment done, and sometimes because they hear it's free money, the kind of thing, and they have done that.
But
So they have to be very careful.
we've passed that stage, because what we have done, we have mapped out every farm.
So
exactly. We know the acreage of every farm.
They can bullshit you.
So, yeah.
Thank you, Kurt, for being here. You've been watching Agriculture on the Move. I want to thank you for viewing the program, and of course, banana farmers. I know you are hard workers, and you are going to get back on your feet again with this assistance you're getting from government. Take it and do it well, so that in the next 6 months, we're hoping to get more production to the 25, the 30 tons to the acre. Thank you again for viewing. I'm Phillip Sydney saying goodbye. Thank you.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole mouvement.
Agriculture on the Move.
Agricole en mouvement.